So I in the writing of my travel book, I think I came to a conclusion about why that's true. My parents gave me the gift of curiosity. I was not aware, I was not really aware of it at the time, and certainly not appreciative. I never said thank you, but they raised me to be very curious about the world. And as you read in the book, we went on 3 week road trips every summer all over North America. And I think what that did was to spark interest in other people and other ways of doing things. That's been that's set the pattern for my life.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to ask you one thing that I have learned reading a couple of your books is that how influential in very modest ways your dad was. You talk about your dad being a wonderful watercolor painter and artist. That's not what he did for a living. I think he worked in an advertising agency.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
These experiences, and I also travel with my family, and I try to make it worthy adventure in our own unique way. My hashtag or my name on Instagram is never check bags. That's my big mantra. But I've tried to do this as well, and I find myself doing some things similar to what your dad did. Some of my favorite things about traveling around the world is just getting the camera out and taking pictures. And sometimes, there's a lot of pictures without the family, and they're not these, I don't know, look at me images that we're so used to seeing these days. That are, it's a big contrast between the way that your dad approached his photography when you guys were taking these road trips. Um, and it was more of a kind of what kind of spirituality you think was recovered or that you learned like that, from your father.
Yeah, he was always looking for beauty, so we never took a family portrait standing next to the Grand Canyon. That was not the reason for being there or for having a camera. He was looking for a beautiful angle, a way of looking at the world, and then often he would come home and paint it. Having taken a photo of it. So again, unconsciously, I think I adopted the same way of looking at the world. At some point, he got me a camera as well, and I imitated him in my photography. So yeah, it's the gift of curiosity and the awareness of beauty and art in the world.
Yeah, that can take you really far. It's amazing. I think it's one of the things that I took away. And again, I keep referencing your book, The Traveler's Path, because I read it most recently, but also it resonates with me so much. Part of my story is that I always had this longing to be somewhere else. I think Mark Twain said, just go, 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 keep moving. And I had this urge to continue to move my whole life. And I was able to scratch that itch when I was in college. I had an Austrian economics professor that tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, Jeff, I run a exchange program at the Economics University in Vienna. I think you'd be a great fit. Would you like to do it?" And I looked at him and said, "Absolutely." I said yes. And that was a time in my life that I think I've been chasing my whole life. The excitement of being that age, freedom, buying that first Eurorail pass, buying the book about Europe and exploring the world. And I remember very vividly doing this on my own, meeting lots of wonderful people along the way, and just that feeling. Once I got into having children, starting a career, I've been chasing that feeling forever. So as soon as my kids got old enough, I made a commitment, my wife and I together, that we were going to start showing them the world. And it's been remarkable.